Surely will have found you the amazing things you see. The cars are built to wonders work. How can such things be? A little science, a little magic, a little science, a little.
About 3,000 years ago, there was a man who was not only a man, but he was also a color. They called him Magenta, and everybody hated him.
What the fuck are you talking about right now?
Have you not been listening? Here's where things get weird. Don't make that face. What the fuck is that face? Where were you the last hour? We've been talking.
Any fucking way. Okay, no, I do actually have something that I wanted to ask you about here at the top. Did you see, in terms of like news stories, this is pretty low on the scale of horrifying events happening in the world.
There are quite a few.
There are many. But I saw that the reflecting pool.
Oh,
Did you see the algae?
The algae and the paint scraping off, and then I saw a video. It was pretty funny. Somebody was like pretending to be RFK, eating the paint chips off the pool and trying to get away, which is pretty stupid.
I was reading a person wrote like an editorial on the algae, and I just skimmed through it very quickly. But they're talking about how they have, you know, decades of experience with like ecology and whatever. It's stuff related to pools, stuff related to ponds.
Pool science.
And they're like, yeah, because they decided to spend $16 million to repaint the bottom of the reflecting pool a dark color of blue, what they did was increase the temperature of the water, and then when they refilled the pool, they did it from I think it was like the Potomac River or something. So they brought in a bunch of this ecology and put it in a nice, big, warm, undisturbed pool of water. It's like, what did you expect was gonna happen?
Stupid.
And then they spent another 1.7 mil on like some sort of bubbler thing that's supposed to break up the algae.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been way cheaper to just start with that. But like, how is it 1.7 million for a bubbler? I feel like I could make that from stuff at, you know, Ace Hardware or something.
Some fucking asshole out there is making their millions on goddamn bubblers for pools.
Yeah.
Ponds.
So I heard that Trump already blamed Obama for this somehow. Or maybe
Color me shocked.
Yeah. And also Antifa got blamed for the damage to the pool, apparently sabotaging the pool somehow.
Sure.
Yeah.
I saw a great piece of art that somebody did that said make America the swamp again, or make America swampy again or something.
Yeah, they're doing it. They're doing it.
And they drew thou who shall not be named as a swamp monster.
Yeah, they did. Well, he said he drained the swamp, right? But he drained it and then put it all in his backyard. It's his swamp. He's Shrek now. He's fully Shrekified.
Oh god, Shrek is so much of a better person than he is.
Shrek is a way better person.
We can't besmirch the good name of Shrek like that.
Oh, speaking of Shrek, have you seen Fiona? The new Fiona?
What do you mean?
So I guess like in the more recent Shrek movie, Fiona is just like looks completely different.
Did they cuntify her? Did they make her...
They made her very snatchified.
Okay.
Yeah, they were like, she doesn't have that jawline. You like look at Shrek and he's got wrinkles, he's kind of gray, he's gotten older, but apparently Fiona is like, looks younger and hotter than ever before. People are like, why can't you just let Fiona look like Fiona? Why do you gotta put a filter on her? They made her look a lot younger and prettier. Like, they fixed up her jawline and stuff like that.
They they almost like made her face more squished. Yeah, she looks quite a bit younger here.
Well, yeah, and you see her like nose is like very upturned. Fiona was already a baddie. Leave her alone.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I really wish that they would just let bitches be ugly. Just let bitches be ugly.
Why is she ugly?
Well, she's not. But I'm just saying, like, why do we have to make everybody... Why does everybody have to have a glow-up moment? Why can't
everybody just be, like, normal people?
Yeah.
Fable. The new Fable game that's coming out, which I'm really excited for. I don't know what this character selection is going to be like based on, like, the game choices that it looks like. you're probably going to have a little more variability, more like maybe like Fallout or something, I hope.
I'm intrigued by the 100 romanceable NPCs.
Yes, which has always kind of been a thing. I don't know why they're like promoting that now, because like you
They're
definitely
promoting
could
it
marry.
now in the wake of Baldur's Gate 3.
That's what it is.
That's why.
So, but the originally in all the promotional stuff for this new Fable game, the protagonist character that they're showing in all the trailers and stuff is a woman, and she's like a non-traditionally pretty woman. She just looks like a regular woman.
Yeah, because
Right.
they're supposed to be like peasants, right? Like,
Yeah, she's like, I guess I don't know. Maybe she's a peasant. Usually like in the games, if you don't know, you start off as a peasant and then you just kind of like make your own adventure sort of thing. She just looks like a normal person with like freckles and blemishes and stuff. They tried to really make her like realistic and people got really upset about it. Because I guess like for one thing, people don't like to play women in video games, and for two, they're like, if you're gonna make me play a woman, she better be hot. Like
Yeah, and
huge boobs, big hips, and
the angle I hear a lot of people take is like, oh, well, if it's fantasy, I want to be in my fantasy world where I'm hot and I'm, I look like what I want to look like. And
sometimes
that's fine.
Sometimes.
That's fine. But like,
Doesn't that get boring though?
I feel like having a very relatable character is more important a lot of the times.
Sometimes.
But also I get it. Like if you're gonna be, it's kind of like the same argument of people talking about like there are some very famous like fantasy book series that include elements of like
Sure.
slavery and racism.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a lot of critique and backlash about that because it's like, why is in your fantasy world these things exist? If it's fantasy, why can we just not have these things?
Well, you want to keep it accurate.
Accurate to what?
Right, exactly. Like that's often like there's like a cognitive dissonance there. That's with D&D too, like or any kind of TTRPGs. Harm knows I've been like a GM for a really long time. As a GM, right? When I've experienced a lot of characters. I've experienced a lot of people creating characters as new players and as old players. And I'll tell you from playing with people who are like veterans of TTRPGs and from playing with people who are really new to the game, the best way to play it is not to be the character you identify with necessarily, or to be like, because that's what everybody new wants to do is make a character that would be like their ideal self.
Right.
And that's what everybody does, but it's no fun. It's like, it can be kind of fun. It can be kind of fun.
Just to be clear, for anybody who might not know, a TTRPG is a tabletop role-playing game, and a GM is a game master.
So like the one that's commonly known as Dungeons and Dragons, everybody really loves that game.
Mhm.
But
there are
ones.
others.
My point is, if you want to make your ideal self and you're like a tiefling and you have badass horns and cool skin and awesome tattoos and like that's cool, that's fun.
Mhm.
It can be fun to go that lane of fantasy.
Mhm.
Totally. But I'm telling you from experience, years and years of experience, you will have so much more fun if you are a 2-foot tall halfling and you're a bard, and maybe you're like, really, really old and kind of fat and grumpy.
Yeah,
like if
because you remove yourself from the character more and you get more into the role.
Yeah, you're like getting into the role of somebody who is very diverse and maybe even typically like the opposite of what you would normally want. Maybe this person's like really greedy,
Mhm.
right? Or maybe this person is just like kind of whiny, and you can really like delve into a character that way. It becomes a lot of fun for everybody.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I would be happy to talk more about RPGs.
So if you haven't figured out, that is what this episode is about.
No, unfortunately, that's not what this episode is about. I do think that you'll be intrigued by this topic. Maybe you will, maybe you won't.
Is
I
it
don't
weather?
know.
Why is it always weather with you?
It's not.
How's the weather?
It's not.
We should just have a weather segment. That way you can get your weather out.
And now, the weather.
And now the weather with Harmony.
Big, what's that fucking podcast? The really famous one. Why am I blanking? With the glow cloud.
Joe Rogan?
Joe Rogan!
Just kidding. I don't- Hey, he's a high value male.
No.
Alpha male.
No.
Him and Takara are friends.
Stop! Help
Sorry.
me think of the name of this podcast.
What is it?
Night Vale.
Oh, right. Night
Big
Vale.
welcome to Night Vale energy. And now, the weather.
And now the weather with biblically accurate Harmony.
Anyway, okay, we really need to get back into
Hone
them.
it in, Harmony.
Okay.
We're here to talk about one thing and one thing only, and that
Yes.
is...
Well, it's a mystery. At least that's how I'm going to frame it for now. We're starting in the very small town of Kopperl, Texas. I'm trying to picture how somebody would say it with the Texan accent.
Kopperl.
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 I don't know. We're probably saying it wrong.
I'm just going to pronounce it Kopperl. If I'm wrong, sorry. Kopperl, Texas. It's about 40 miles northwest of Waco, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like south and west of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I believe.
Okay.
It's a really small town. It's in the Kimball Bend area of the Brazos River. It's in this area that the K'iche' tribe built their village, and they had a permanent settlement there. They subsisted off of hunting buffalo, black bear, and other wildlife. Did you know there was black bear in Texas?
That makes sense to me. They're kind of all over the place up here in North
I find
America.
that kind of surprising for some reason. Another group is the Tonkawa, and they're just kind of a dominant indigenous group in central Texas in general. They're notably peaceful people. Diplomatic. That's the word I'm looking for. They're very diplomatic people. They're hunter-gatherers who were vital guides for early European settlers.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I'm not going to go into that too much more just because we have a lot to get through, but just know that there were a lot of indigenous groups in this area prior to the settlement of Kopperl being formed. I believe, it was formed in the 1800s. The estimated population in 1908 was only 500 people. That was 115 different families. And estimated population by 2020 was 164. So, a very, very small community.
Wow.
It was a railway town founded by a Galveston banker and railroad director named Moritz Kopperl. And weirdly,
where it gets its name.
yes, that is where it gets its name. So it was a stop along, I think it was like 3 different railways kind of all ran through this town. It's also the subject of a song called the Texas Trilogy by a guy named Stephen Fromholz. And I'm actually going to have you read this quote here. It's an excerpt of the lyrics.
Okay. It says, "Hell, I can remember when Kopperl, Texas was a good place for a man to live and raise a family, 'cause that's before the cotton gin closed down. Heh. It's been that long ago. You know, it seems like only yesterday old Steve Hughes lost his arm in that infernal machine and walked all the way home bleeding to death. Course, new highway helped some when they dammed up the Brazos and built Lake Whitney. Brought some fishermen down from Dallas and Fort Worth town. Sure has been quiet though since they closed down the depot and built that new Tessel out west of town. You know the train just don't stop here anymore. No, the train just don't stop here anymore."
Yeah, so a lot going on in that little this here song.
It was quite the ditty.
Yeah, so I don't know how Steve Hughes is doing, but
Not great.
my brother in one arm, it sounds like.
Yeah.
It says they dammed up the Brazos to build Lake Whitney. Kopperl is built alongside the Brazos River, and then sort of right where the town is, it's dammed, and then it's kind of like a thick river there, and then it feeds into a much bigger body of water. That's the lake just south of there. That will come back later. June 15th, 1960. We're in Kopperl, Texas. Very small town. At this time, maybe about 200 residents.
Okay.
Many Kopperl residents were asleep. It was mid-June. It was around midnight. The temperature was a pleasant 70 degrees, mostly clear skies, and many families had their windows open to let in the summer breeze, and, you know,
Sure.
most of them didn't have air conditioning or anything like
Yeah.
that.
No, I bet it was nice.
A typical thunderstorm was expected to pass over town around midnight, very common in Texas, especially in mid-June. But instead of a nice cooling rain, as the storm started to pass, residents were hit with a wall of unbearably hot wind.
Close that window.
It was so aggressively hot and so unnerving that residents started to wake up from a dead sleep and started to panic.
That is the worst thing ever. Like I hate being too hot when I sleep. I would rather be too cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'd rather just like get curled up under the blanket. It's when you're like too hot. There's like nothing you can do about it.
It's so annoying. I hate being too hot when I'm sleeping.
So miserable. And you know me, I'll get panic attacks if I'm like
Mhm.
in my sleep if it's too hot.
Oh,
stuff like
absolutely.
that, yeah.
And this wasn't like, oh, it's, it's 80 degrees and I'm a little sweaty and
No,
sticky.
this is like people blood pressure's going up and
This
while you're
is-
trying to sleep.
People were so unnerved by this that they were panicking, they were running around, they were waking the kids up. A lot of them ran to storm shelters because they didn't know what was going on.
Mm. I bet. I mean, maybe people in that area might have had some feelings about that kind of event. Maybe as a prediction. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some experience with it. I mean,
Some of them thought that the world was ending.
of course, there's always people who think the world's ending, though.
I mean, yeah, but still. So
I mean, it is.
I'll explain. Let me give you some more details, and then you can make your own assumptions. There were wind gusts of up to 75 miles per hour, which is hurricane force winds. This was out of the blue.
Just having that's like this is literally like firing air straight from an oven into your house.
Yes, and that's how a lot of them described it.
That's so crazy.
The temperature, in a matter of mere minutes, we're talking like 10 or 15 minutes. There's no exact time frame, but it's like a very short period of time. The temperature climbed up to an alleged 140 degrees Fahrenheit.
Ugh.
It was allegedly extremely hot. Now, if this temperature is correct, it would be the hottest recorded temperature on Earth anywhere ever. Okay, so just keep that in mind.
That's too hot.
Yeah. So the temperature climbed up, and this was, again, I cannot stress enough, this happened over the course of like 10 minutes. It was extremely fast that it heated up. It was 20 degrees, allegedly, above the hottest official Texas state record and hotter than Death Valley. Death Valley's current record is 134 degrees Fahrenheit, and that is the hottest recorded temperature on Earth.
Okay.
All right. So bear all that in mind. It stayed this way, hurricane force winds and blisteringly hot, for 4 fucking hours.
I would honestly think the world was ending, for sure.
How could you not? Especially in the middle
that
of the night.
sucks.
It would be one thing if it were in the middle of the day. But it was a nice, cool, calm night, and then all of a sudden, blow dryer in your face, hot wind, you're in an oven. At midnight? Again, people had no idea what was going on. Some thought it was the end of the world. Around 4 a.m., the heat and wind finally started to break, and residents began to recover from what Texan folklore now refers to as Satan's storm. A valid name.
The devil farted for 4 hours that day.
Yikes. So, the following day, Kopperl residents awoke expecting to hear about this strange event on the news, obviously. But they found that no one outside of their tight-knit community was talking about it at all.
So it just happened there.
It seemed that the event only happened there.
In Kopperl.
Kopperl. So, what the fuck happened? Well, we're going to look at some claims and primary sources. Reports are very limited. It's a very small town, and only one photojournalist came to record the event after it happened. Floyd Bright of WBAP TV. By the way, a lot of the information that I pulled here, some of it's from Wikipedia, some of it is from a YouTube video that I watched of, the channel is Swiggle Studios. I want to make sure that I'm putting that out there because that's a really good, very well researched video that has a lot of footage of the things I'm going to be talking about in this section. So if you are interested at all on this topic and actually want to see some of the footage,
do a little deep dive.
Yeah, go watch that video. It's very well done. Eyewitness testimonies in the footage captured by Floyd Bright depicts the wind damage, which includes uprooted trees, roofs taken off of buildings, including like the local convenience store, and some smaller structures that
it was basically like a firenado.
I mean, kind of, yeah. Firenator is a real thing.
Really?
That's a different phenomena.
The tornado's shooting at us.
There was one in Utah not that long ago, a fire
Really?
tornado. Yeah.
How does a fire... Well, okay, anyway. We'll talk about that another time.
Okay. That's fine. Trees were uprooted, like literally ripped out, like a tornado had been through there.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of smaller structures were like crumbled, things that weren't like built very well necessarily, but like wooden structures.
Well, everything got steamed too. Like...
Yes. And so a lot of this is archived deep in the University of North Texas's historical database. They have these primary sources there.
Hmm.
I will put up some pictures of this on the Instagram later so you can see with your own eyes what's going on. So a local farmer said, there's footage of him saying this. I woke up because it was so hot, I couldn't breathe, and my ears started popping. Note that. That's a pressure change.
Ugh.
If your ears are popping, that means that there's a big pressure change.
That can be so painful, and then on top of that, I gotta be like sweltering hot. Ugh.
Yeah. So he woke up because it was so hot and his ears were popping. He said, I figured I'd get up and go down to the storm house for a while. And he was like talking for a second. I couldn't really understand his accent, but I think he said I had a hay bed down there. So he went down there to lay down because it was probably a lot cooler in the storm cellar. He said I was down there for about an hour and a lot of company came in. And he wasn't joking. 20 people joined him in a storm cellar.
No, I bet. People were like, we gotta get out of this.
There was a lady in the
Well,
video
that's
clip.
not survivable.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no. Certainly not for somebody like me. I'm very susceptible.
You got 5 minutes tops. You're
Tops.
You'd melt like the Wicked Witch.
I would be literally cooked. Yeah, 20 people joined him in his storm cellar. In the clip where he's talking, there's a lady with like a little baby and she comes over and they're asking her and she's like, yeah, I joined him down there. And she's like laughing about it. She's got her like chubby little baby. It's just kind of cute. Anyway.
Well, I'm glad that there was somewhere safe for the baby to go.
Yeah. So there was another local man gave his testimony and he said, well, about 12 o'clock last night, the lights and air conditioners went off. So they lost power.
Mm.
And so we went outside where we thought it would be cooler, but instead of being cooler, the temperature was like about 100 degrees. Like a hot blaster of air out of the oven hitting you in the face when you went out there. It was so hot you couldn't stay out there. So that's fun.
Do you remember when we first met and you came to visit me? Like, not when we first met, but like when we first met in person, you came to visit me in
Eugene,
Oregon.
And it was 116 degrees.
And it's never been that hot there, ever. The hottest, like usually like summer days. Not the hot summer days, but like an average summer day is like 70.
And you had one window unit air conditioner, and it was trying its damnedest to keep us
Couldn't
cool.
do anything.
But it could not keep
We
up.
had to literally like fully clothed go into the ice cold shower and just soak ourselves
like
and
every
then,
20 to 30
like
minutes.
every 20 minutes, because it would literally would walk out into the house and our clothes would dry immediately and it would just be so miserably hot.
I know. I feel so bad for people who were like unhoused.
We did go for a walk and hand out some water and stuff
And some fruit, that big nice
we couldn't be outside too
bowl of
long though.
fruit.
It was too, oh man, it was horrible.
Yeah, that was outrageous.
So like this is like hotter, and not even a little bit hotter, it's like a lot hotter.
And again, it's midnight. It's dark out. There's no
It's
sun.
the middle of the night, dude.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Totally bizarre. So that same eyewitness also describes calling to report his power outage to the electric company. And the electric company sent somebody out pretty much right away to check it out. The crew called back into the power station to report that they thought that the heat was stuck on in the truck because it was so unreasonably hot in there. It was just blowing hot air. They're like, what is going on?
Well, at that point, your AC doesn't work. It doesn't matter
how could it?
It doesn't matter how strong your AC is. It's not cooling that air down.
How could it, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of residents, especially young kids and older adults, had to put wet cloths over their faces just to feel like they weren't being suffocated from the heat.
They do that a lot in Florida.
Something important about this heat is that, so Texas has generally a pretty high humidity, high dew point.
Mm-hmm.
So the air stays pretty moist.
Yeah.
This was a very dry heat. And so it was very hot and dry. It was
It's
literally
like
air
cracking
from an
your
oven.
skin, yeah.
Yeah. So
I know dry, like Montana's where I come from, where I grew up, is like super dry.
that's how
It's
Colorado
dry
is
enough to
too.
crack your skin for sure. Like literally crack the skin on your hands. You
Yeah.
start bleeding.
Oh
It's-
yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Colorado's like that too. That's not as common for Texas.
Mhm.
It's usually the the air has more moisture to it typically.
Yeah, anywhere along the south
Mhm.
coast here, or like not even the coast, but like the south.
Right. But this heat was very dry heat. So that's interesting. We're going to put that little piece of evidence away for later.
Okay.
Okay, this is a comment from Reddit. The account is One Birder.
One birder.
Do you want to go ahead and read this?
One birder on Reddit said, I was 9 years old and lived on a farm outside Kopperl when this happened. I remember being awakened suddenly during the night when the old window water cooler in the room where my brother and I slept went off. My parents were in the room next to us, and the open door allowed them to get some cool air as well. It was very quiet, and when we heard this big wind, I guess my father must have gone outside to see what was going on, and he decided we needed to go to the storm cellar. This cellar was not a place you went to on a whim. Black widow spiders down there, and it was just kind of creepy. The steps down into the cellar were of different distances, and when we ran down them, it was easy to fall down, especially if you were a scared little kid. From time to time, Daddy would go push open the corrugated metal door to see what was happening. I guess it finally seemed safe enough to go back out into the old house. The next day, we saw a big advertising thermometer, might have been like from a Coke sign or something, which was on the outside wall of Charlie Riddle's bait shop in Kopperl. It had burst from the heat. So they had a giant thermometer explode from how hot it got.
Yes. So I actually have a picture of Charlie's Bait Shop
Really?
from the primary sources that I will show you.
That is just the wildest thing.
This I believe is Charlie. I had a quote from him at some point. Notably, it is a Dr. Pepper thermometer. And from what we can see, it's not visibly popped. But anyway, this is him.
That's him.
Yeah, that's Charlie. Here's Charlie's quote. He says, I got up about midnight and it was so hot, I came out here to see just how hot it was. He's like pointing to the thermometer as he's saying this. He says, this thermometer was sitting on 100 degrees and I think it got hotter than that afterwards.
Oh, it probably maxed out at 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Clifton Record made claim about the 140-degree heat. I have another quote that we'll read. This is a newspaper clipping. Go ahead and read this.
Freak heat wave hits Lake Whitney.
Lake Whitney is, again, the dammed up lake that's right south of town, so it's right there.
Tuesday night residents in the vicinity... The way I read that was weird. Tuesday night residents, not Wednesday night, not Thursday night.
Only Tuesdays.
Only on Tuesdays.
By Wednesdays, you gotta be gone.
Pack your shit and get out. We got new residents. To be fair, they wrote it that way.
That's
okay. Fair. Tuesday night, comma, should have been there, but wasn't. Shame on you. What year was this? It doesn't matter. Anyway.
1960.
Yeah. Tuesday night, residents in the vicinity of Lakeside Village, you know what it was? It was probably because it cost a lot of money to print.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had to do the one letter at a time. I forgot about
that.
That's a whole thing.
Yeah,
like
it's a
how
whole thing.
It would cost them. That's why our spelling is different from English, like British English spelling.
Yep, as few characters as possible.
Yeah.
To get the message across.
We got rid of the U in color, right?
And then we did it again when we introduced social media and smartphones.
Yeah. And now we just
and
text.
emojis.
It's like, yeah, well, it doesn't cost money, but it costs me time, and time is money.
The evolution of language is a reflection of capitalism.
Now we're back to hieroglyphs.
Yeah.
Emojis, yeah.
Time is money. All right, go ahead.
Sorry. Freak heat wave hits Lake Whitney. Tuesday night, residents in the vicinity of Lakeside Village and Mooney Village experienced a freak weather condition that caused considerable damage and aroused fear among the residents. Intense night heat that generated destructive windstorms, unroofing a number of buildings and toppling power poles and trees, climbed to 96 degrees. Residents when their coolers, stopped from the power failure, sought relief on the outside and found it hotter than the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Water in radiators of cars driven during that time were said to boil, and corn and cotton that the day before looked fine were burned to a crisp. The weatherman reported, that's so terrifying. You go out to your cornfield and it's all just like cooked, literally like from an oven.
Like popcorn.
That would have been cool if it all popped, though.
That would have been pretty sweet.
The weatherman reported that temperatures must have reached nearly 140 degrees for a brief time in spots. Pressure dropped swiftly, and glass in the Mooney store shattered outward. A number of the residents sought safety in a storm shelter. The heat inside one resident's house was so intense that he thought his home was on fire.
Glass in this shop shattered outwards.
Meaning that the air pressure in the shop essentially turned the shop into a grenade.
Yeah, that's terrifying, isn't it?
Can you imagine being in there? Like, the guy talking about his ears popping? No kidding, your whole head's about to pop.
The pressure change.
Like, literally, your head's about to pop.
I mean, yeah, the pressure change is just really... That's wild.
So we do have... This is, like, a rare chance I get to use, like, biology knowledge.
Bring it.
We have the escutcheon tubes that, like...
That's the one that looks like a little shell, right?
No. That's your cochlea.
Oh, cochlea.
So your cochlea is used for hearing, and then you have your semicircular canals that are part of that same structure. That's used for balance, right? But you have just near those, because they're filled with fluid and they need fluid to operate, you have a tube that runs from your ear into your throat, just behind your eardrum.
Mm-hmm.
You need it so that you can drain fluid.
Yeah.
So that it can continually be made and flush it keeps the system running. One of the benefits to the fact that this is like open to your throat is that when there's an intense pressure change, you can open your mouth
and pop
and pop your ears, right? Because it can equalize that pressure. Otherwise, it would just explode.
Which is like popping your ears on a plane, or like chewing gum on a plane can help.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when you're chewing, you're masticating, you're like kind of pushing on that tube, getting the air to go.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. The glass exploding, I was like, we have to read that. That's bananas. Okay.
That is, but like everything we've read so far is absolutely bananas.
It is. It absolutely is.
I hope that never happens to me. I don't think I'd survive that. I hate that.
It's
so
scary.
Much.
Especially like, listen, in the era of social media, you can, even if nobody else you see is like talking about it, you can at least say, hey, was
Anybody
I the
else see what's going on? Yeah.
But like in 1960, in this really small town that's like kind of pretty isolated, surrounded by these other small communities.
Everybody's got to know the guy who has the cellar, you know? Like,
and they did.
And you better know to get there.
They're all, farmer so-and-so, please, let me in.
Pardon me, sir, could we borrow a little portion of your cellar?
Break me half a piece of that exoskeleton.
It's not how it works.
Okay. Lake Whitney is the body of water that the Brazos River sits on. I talked about that. More evidence of the heat comes from local farmer Pete Burns. Yes, that's his real name.
It's a cool name.
Pete Burns describes to Floyd Bright, the photojournalist, how his cotton crops were destroyed by the heat. He states, it looks like a blowtorch had done run over it. Same with the corn. He describes that his cotton plants were so dry and crispy that they could easily be crushed in a hand. Now, notably, picking cotton plants are they're bristly, they're firm, it's not a fun job to be picking cotton, which is part of why white people never wanted to do it and made black people do it, is because it's not a fun plant to handle. It
No.
takes a lot to break down the toughness of that plant and to make it crumble. He says it could easily be crushed with a hand as if it had been frozen by liquid nitrogen.
Mm-hmm.
Only a farmer would say that. Or a scientist.
Oftentimes, farmers become scientists.
I mean, farmers are scientists.
They are.
Let's be real.
Agricultural science.
Yeah.
But also, they become scientists later. Like, if you look into the history of a lot of famous old-timey scientists, they were all, like, people who, you know, were on farms or had something to do with a farm.
Totally.
At some point.
Which makes sense.
You got a lot of time to think.
Got a lot of time to think. You got access to a lot of weird chemicals and stuff.
Yeah. feeding horses dynamite and stuff.
The same farmer also says the hay that they had harvested the day prior, he said it would normally take 2 full days to cure the hay, but it cured overnight during the storm. Our photojournalist here did a cool thing where he took his microphone and he like held it down and he like crushed some stuff so you could hear, and it was very like, I mean, it was crunchy. As you can see, this was a cotton plant. It is now
It doesn't look like a cotton plant.
It is now just crusty stuff coming out of the ground, which sucks for these farmers, obviously.
Yeah, so where I grew up in Montana, when I was like a little kid, we had cotton plants all over the place. They were just like everywhere. Just out in the wild, right? Out near the woods. And they were like big. They were huge and bendy. And you didn't really want to like pop the pod open because it would get everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's hard to believe
that it got dried up and
that the wind was able to like cook that down into a little like burnt nugget.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really scary.
Yeah.
Because there's cattle and stuff just
Oh,
stuck
I know.
out in the...
I know.
Did they talk about that? Did any of the animals die?
No,
Probably.
there was no... So what my next bullet point here is this is all the evidence that we have. It's very limited, and that's partially due to the fact that it was very rural.
It's hard for me to imagine an animal surviving in that for 4 hours.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine being a living creature living through this for 4 hours. I can't imagine it was great for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But there weren't any records of specifically things happening to animals for some reason. There may not have been any cattle farmers in that area. It seems like the farmers that were there were growing crops.
Yeah. Nobody had like chickens or dogs or anything. I guess if you had a dog, you'd bring it to the cellar with you. But
yeah,
I guess animals know to hide too.
I'm not sure. I for my sake, I'd like to believe that all of the animals were safe.
No animals were harmed during this event.
Yes. Okay.
Only a Coke sign, a Dr. Pepper thermometer.
So this is the evidence that we have.
And a shop exploded, but that's fine.
And roofs were torn off and trees were uprooted.
A shop exploded.
A shop exploded, babe.
That's wild. That's too much.
It's like that memed clip of like the Kardashians where Kim Kardashian was like bitching about something that doesn't matter, and one of her sisters is like, "People are dying, Kim."
My diamond earring came off in the ocean and it's gone. Kim, there's people that are dying.
So is this bullshit? What do you think?
Like, did it happen?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I don't think it happened.
Well, other similar events have happened.
Well, I don't believe the first one.
We're going to talk about them
either.
right now.
I'm leaving.
What? Okay, so in August of 2011, in August of 2011,
yeah,
in Anita, Iowa, there was a similar experience that happened during the day.
Okay. Even worse. I don't know why, but that's worse. I feel like at nighttime there's some sort of protection because at least the earth had time to cool.
I don't know. I feel like nighttime would be so unnerving.
It would be unnerving, but I mean, like, during the day with the sun and everything.
Just a hot, hot wind. So at 5:55 p.m., the temperature was 84 degrees. We actually have records of the dew point during this time too, which is important.
I just want you to know 85 degrees is too hot for me.
85. Well,
85 alone is too hot.
It's a lot hotter than that today.
I know. I'm just saying, well, we're inside, but I'm just saying, like, I don't want to be outside in 85 degrees.
That's fair.
When it's normal, you know? Like,
that's fair.
I'm sorry, am I boring you?
I'm tired. All right, listen. 5:55 p.m., Anita, Iowa.
Yep.
August 2011. Okay, it was 84 degrees. The dew point was 75, which I'll talk about what the dew point is for those who don't know.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that earlier, because dew point and humidity are different things. I feel like most people know what humidity is, and we talk about things in terms of humidity.
Yeah, I'm going to say, like, it's really humid today. And
right,
like,
but we really mean dew point.
We really mean the dew point's really high today.
Right, yeah.
So, the dew point, real quick, just ripped from Wikipedia. The dew point is affected by the air's absolute humidity. The more moisture that the air contains, the higher its dew point. So it's not quite the same as humidity, but they work together.
Humidity is like how much moisture is available,
Mm-hmm.
and dew point is how much of that moisture is contained in the air.
Yeah. It's so picture the air like a big sponge. How much of the water in the bowl has been sucked up into the sponge?
Right.
So anyway, the dew point was 75, which is pretty high, and winds were about 5 miles per hour. So within only 15 minutes, the wind suddenly picked up to 60 miles per hour. The temperature went up to 93 degrees. That's a 9-degree temperature increase in 15 minutes.
That's pretty hot.
Over the next hour, the temperature would continue to climb all the way up to 102 degrees. Mind you, we're nearing the end of the day. The peak temperature of the day should have already happened.
Yeah.
And it is suddenly climbing it's 18 degrees higher than it was an hour before. The dew point, meanwhile, plummets to just 7 degrees.
Okay, so no moisture in the air anymore.
It sucks the moisture out of the air like it's evaporated. It dissolves.
So that's why it's such a dry, nasty heat. Okay, got it. Yeah, because it just burns up the water.
Yeah.
Okay.
And obviously, the people in the area took notice as this was happening. There are some primary sources of this. I didn't include any of that here. But there are interviews and stuff of people talking about how it felt like an oven. And it felt like just getting blasted in the face with air. All the same things that they were saying in Kopperl about that event.
Did it get to the same temp?
No, but it did get to 102.
100. That's no 140. Okay.
It's not, but it is a big enough increase that happening over the course of an hour, you're gonna notice it.
I'm just saying, after we got done talking about the crispy corn crops, this feels a little underwhelming.
Okay,
I'm not trying to minimize anybody's experience. I'm just saying.
Listen, another event happened this year in January.
This year?
January 9th,
All right.
2026, in Viewbank, Victoria, Australia. In this town, Viewbank, they experienced a sudden heat increase from 65.3 degrees Fahrenheit, or 18.5 degrees Celsius, to 93.2 degrees Fahrenheit, or 34 degrees Celsius.
Ugh. That's a huge change.
That's a difference of 28 degrees Fahrenheit over the course of just 2 hours.
So, I was going to say, this is the kind of thing I would expect from Australia. But to happen in the United States, the United States of this America,
These states
of
in
this
this state?
America, in this state, I expect it from Australia. I expect that kind of shenanigans from Australia, because Australia they have spiders you can walk like a dog, okay? They've got kangaroos that are trying to box you in the street, okay? I expect this kind of heat wave from Australia. I'm not totally convinced Australian people aren't venomous.
That is a harmful stereotype.
Oh, sorry. If you're Australian, I'm sorry.
Jackie's just bullshit.
Please don't beat me up.
In Sioux Falls, South Dakota, in August of 2008, we had another situation in which a sudden increase in heat from 70 degrees Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius, to 101 Fahrenheit, 38 Celsius, happened over the course of just 15 minutes. I mean, in the height of a financial crisis, and you gotta deal with this bullshit?
Think
No.
of the children.
And you live in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
I can't figure out what's worse.
No shade to South Dakota.
Okay.
I actually like South Dakota a lot.
I don't know. I've been out in South Dakota, out in the middle of nowhere, where there's nothing. There's nothing.
It's true. That's kind of part of why I like it.
What?
And then you get into the Black Hills, and it's really pretty. It's cool. And then
Yeah.
they have a lot of those roadside attractions.
Listen, I'll talk shit about anybody. You give me somebody to talk shit about, I'll talk shit about them. Sorry to make fun of your Vegemite, Australians. Sorry, Australians.
Okay, any fucking way.
Anywho's.
So these are lots of examples of an extremely rare weather event called a heat burst. And actually,
What a surprising name.
Yeah. Creative. So actually I was laughing about this last night. I am a huge nerd, and I will watch live streams of like what severe weather events, like coverage of it. There's a faceted array of reasons in which I like to watch this kind of coverage. But anyway, we were watching last night.
My wife might actually secretly be a grandpa. Because
I took a nap in the recliner while I was watching the weather.
I tried to change the channel. She immediately woke up and was like, "Don't touch that.
That's
I'm
not
watching
true.
that." And then passed back out.
That's not true. But what is true is that before I took a little nap in the recliner, I said, "Put on my weather for me."
That's true. You were like a grandpa in a small goth woman's body.
Yes. That is a pretty accurate description of me. So anyway, so when we were watching this coverage last night, there actually was a mention of one of these rare heat burst events, and I was like, that's so funny because this is very uncommon. But
oh, right, you even said something. You were like, "Oh, I'm going to talk about this tomorrow."
yeah, I did. I was so excited about it because it happened in real life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this event actually transpired or not, but what the meteorologist had said was that there was a setup that could lead to this heat burst. So I don't know. I'm going to look up in a few days and see if this happened. He said if it happened, it would have been around Lubbock, Texas.
Where's that at? Is that close?
No, that's in the panhandle of Texas. Yeah.
Yep.
It's west of here.
I reckon.
I reckon. I shrecken.
You think you're cute. This is what
Rare
weather
event.
does to people.
Don't do weather, kids.
Don't do not even once. Weather.
Heat bursts describe a sudden, brief wave of hot wind. And that is like really underselling it.
How surprising.
It can happen when heat is lofted high into the atmosphere. We're talking 10,000, 20,000 feet up into the sky.
Okay.
And then is suddenly blown back toward the ground. This is similar to another much more common event called a downburst, but it's different, and I'll tell you why. A downburst is when rain or hail evaporates in dry air, which causes the air to become dense, and then it accelerates rapidly toward the ground because it becomes dense. It does cause a very strong, cool wind, and it can cause winds of up to 100 miles per hour. We see these happen fairly often. It's driven by gravity and something called precipitation drag. Heat burst is when a dying thunderstorm's moisture suddenly evaporates into dry air, and this causes the cool air to rapidly fall toward the surface. The pressure of that rapid falling of the cool air actually rapidly heats the air, which results in this hot wind.
Right, yeah. Increasing pressure increases temperature. Yeah, okay. You're in a pressure cooker, basically.
Basically, yeah. Like it's
a little water made. It's like a water for walls, but you're in a pressure cooker.
Yeah. So that's what we think happened over Kopperl that night. What does it mean though in terms of like these allegations of it being 140 degrees? Could it have even possibly reached that temperature that night? I think maybe, but probably not.
You think probably not?
I don't think that it got to 140. Cotton plants start to experience heat stress and temperatures over 100 degrees. I looked into this. And they can start to take on a crispy, burnt appearance pretty quickly at those temperatures if the air is dry enough. Especially if it's being hit by a dry, hot wind. I mean, it's like taking a plant and putting it in an oven for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Even at a low heat. Like, you're gonna dry it out. Listen, it could have been 140 degrees. I don't know.
I don't know, but you walk outside and your chickens are all baked. You got little baked chickens.
No, poor chickens.
Yeah. Good eating, though.
It doesn't need to be 140 degrees to do that, I don't think. But maybe it does.
Well, I feel like it could do that. I just feel like it would take longer than 4 hours, but maybe not.
I
don't really know. I have no
one more
clue.
primary source that I want you to read.
Heat bursts in North America. Which America?
North.
Georgia. In 1860, Scientific American, Volume 3, Issue 106, gave the following report of 2 heat flashes. No dates of occurrence were given. A hot wind extending about 100 yards in width lately passed through the middle of Georgia and scorched up the cotton crops on a number of plantations. A hot wind also passed through a section of Kansas. It burned up the vegetation, and its track of several persons fell victim to its poisonous blast. Ugh. It lasted for a very short period, during which the thermometer stood at 120.
So,
Yikes.
I included this here because it's talking about how it was 120 degrees and the cotton crops were burnt up.
Yeah.
And this said that it lasted for a very short period. 4 hours is a pretty long period of time.
Okay, well, what about the corn being also crispy?
Corn
Corn holds a lot of moisture.
well,
Explain that one. What happened to the corn? You haven't thought of the corn.
but you haven't thought of the corn. Personally, I think that the temperature did get extremely high in Kopperl that night.
I bet it did. It sounds like it did.
I'm no expert, obviously, but based on the evidence, it seems to support that a temperature between 110 and 130 is very likely.
So then it seems to me reasonable that it may have reached 140
It's
in
possible.
some places, which is what the news article said,
It's
and remains
possible.
accurate, even though their punctuation left much to be desired.
So yeah, I mean, decide for yourself, I guess. But regardless, something fucked up happened that night, and it's a thing. It's a
Please may that never find me.
yeah. May
I
that
never
energy
want that.
never find me.
I don't want that.
Okay, I went ahead and did a little bit of pre-research on some reviews.
Okay.
I pulled some reviews from different places. We're gonna start. There's not a lot of businesses in Kopperl, okay? It's a very small town, and to be honest with you, the few places that were there had great reviews. So
I want a review of the place that was there that had the broken thermometer.
I didn't see it, so I don't know if old Charlie's still got a convenience store.
Charlie's gone. He's long gone.
So
He looked pretty old in the picture, and that picture was old.
yeah, I don't know that
But
family
who- I don't
business
know.
got passed on. Maybe it did.
Maybe.
There is a place nearby in a town called Morgan, which is just south.
Morgan.
Morgan, Texas.
It's a good boy.
There's a place there called Lamp Man Grocery, which apparently serves up legendary burgers and fries for a really good price. I mean, this place had great reviews. People were really singing the
we should
praises. I know. I was like, I gotta add this to like a little podcast road trip
Mhm.
thing.
Oh, that'd be fun if we did a little road trip for the places we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've been to some of the places we've talked about now, but
We have, yeah.
anyway.
So anyway, I didn't pull any specific reviews for that because they weren't anything fun to read. But shout out to Lampman Grocery and their apparently great burgers. Now we're gonna go to Lake Whitney reviews.
The lake.
Yeah, go ahead. This one,
It's so weird to me that people do stuff like that, review a lake.
Well-
it's like, what do you... It's a lake. What are you talking
I think you'll understand why people are reviewing it here.
Okay.
I have right above the copied review what the star rating is, so go ahead and read that.
1 star. Randy?
Yep, Randy Doring.
Randy Doring, 8 years ago. Horrible, dirty, snake infested, and trashy. Thank you, Randy. 1 star. Katie Griffith. This is 6 years ago. This lake has a brain-eating amoeba. Stay away.
Unsubstantiated claims, by the way. I don't know.
I remember hearing about the brain-eating amoeba here in Texas
Oh, really?
when I was in Eugene.
Oh, shit. Well, maybe it was this one then. I don't know.
Because I think there are other water sources here that have it too. So gotta
Well,
be
damn,
careful.
I don't know.
3 stars. Christopher Castillo says, "Watch out with the brain-eating amoeba." 3 stars.
Yeah. He's like...
You just gotta be careful.
Yeah, just be careful.
Just don't get that brain-eating amoeba. If you don't have that,
You're
it's
good.
fine. It's fine. Charlie Gregory really liked it. You want to
Yeah,
read this
no,
one?
oh, no, sorry. I was just making sure you're still reading reviews.
5 stars. Charlie Gregory, 2 months ago. Actually, they must have taken care of that
This is recent. Yes.
brain eating amoeba problem. I came to Lake Whitney to camp a few weeks ago for the first time since I was a little kid, and it was exactly as magical and fun as I remembered. Amazing and affordable campsites, awesome lake access, and extremely friendly people. The park rangers who make the reservations and check you in upon arrival are so sweet and helpful. I will definitely be back and was so happy to recreate the happy memories of me going to Lake Whitney to camp with my dad many, many years ago. The local town is also super close to the park, so you don't have to drive far to get forgotten supplies or good food if you don't have a cooking setup.
So, I don't know. It sounds like maybe they figured out their brain eating amoeba situation there.
Or maybe people just forgot because their brains were eaten by amoeba. Either way, RFK's been there for sure.
Either way.
RFK would tell you to brush your teeth with it.
Yeah. Rub some dirt on it.
Rub some dirt on it. Hopefully we don't all get autism.
So from there, I moved on to a local campsite called the Brazos Outdoor Center.
Okay.
Which is just north of Kopperl. And go ahead and read this series of events here. This is a 1-star review by Bobby Morse.
Bobby Morse is unhappy. Bobby Morse says 11 months ago, 1 star. This operation is dangerous. They said we would not need life jackets, but had to put them on in the boat. Rushed us to get on the water. The kayak sank out from under us due to bad seals. In water at least 6 feet. We called and were denied any help. I had to lift and drain kayak, which continued to take on water the rest of the trip. No apologies, just arguments from operators and owner. Stay away for your safety. The owner responded. Owner responded to Bobby. Owner said, not true. As an adult, you are not legally required to wear a life jacket, but you must have them on the boat, and we provided them for you. You both flipped the boat and filled it with water, which was why you had to drain it. You were not denied any help. The owner spoke with you more than once and gave you instructions on what to do to get to the takeout.
So, there were probably 5 or 6 other very similar reviews. I don't know if they were people, like all friends or relatives on the same trip together, but very similar reviews of the same types of claims. Other than that, though, there are many recent 5-star, very long, detailed reviews of very happy customers for this place, so.
Some of y'all haven't ever been inner tubing down the Yellowstone River, and it shows.
And it shows.
Terrifying, by the way.
Amateur.
I used to do that with Josh all the time.
Oh, I'm sure the whitewater rapids and all that. I've never been on a tubing down the river situation because I was too scared.
In the areas where we did it, there weren't any like rapids. I have done that in Oregon though, the Willamette River. But that water moves fast and it's deep too.
Oh, it scares me now.
It's pretty creepy.
I don't like that.
Yeah. There's a little island out there too that we'd inner tube over to, and then we try to inner tube back. And then by the time you get back, you're like way down the river. You know?
Lakes and stuff. I get really freaked out by large bodies of water. I don't like that.
I did that without a life vest or anything too. We never. It's like we'd rock climb, no gear. You know,
just swimming.
You just raw dog the earth.
Raw dog in the earth. That's all that I have on Kopperl, Texas, and Satan's Storm of 1960.
That was a lot.
That is a lot.
Thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah. Thanks for coming along for this ride. I'm sorry for subjecting everybody to the weather once again, but I do have...
Yeah, you gotta stop doing that.
I hate to break it to you. I do have many more topics adjacent to this that I find really interesting, so I will probably talk about those at some point. Sorry, this is my podcast. You're just living in it.
Pray for me. Final thoughts? Words? Anything?
I don't have any. Other than, may that type of storm never find me.
May any type of storm never find me. I want it to be a nice, temperate...
I want it to be safe and calm all the time.
Please. No tornadoes.
I want the earth to cradle me gently.
I don't need, if it's 85 degrees, it's too hot. Stop doing that. Earth.
85 isn't too hot.
It's fine. 85 is fine. I was in Oregon too long, and I grew up in Alaska. I like it cold. Yeah,
I like when it's I like when it's hot as long as I have access to air conditioning.
I like when it's cold. When I was a kid, I used to like play in the yard in the negatives.
I can't handle it anymore. I used to do that too. I'm just not built for it.
No, I'll get too cold now.
I get way too cold. And it hurts my bones.
We're all old and grumpy. You better, you know what? All right, folks, I got to get this one to her chair so she can watch the weather and pass out. Get in your chair.
Yeah, this feels very much like putting a kid down for a nap.
It's a lot like putting a kid down for a nap.
What are you going to talk about next week? Because it's your turn.
You'll find out next time. On.
Whose line is it anyway?
That's the wrong fucking thing. Drew Carey, ladies and gentlemen. All right, folks.
Thanks for
Peace.
listening. Goodbye.
Bye.